very first soft-spoken ASMR. So hopefully I stay doing soft-spoken because I'm so used to whispering or not talking. I've been doing a lot of reading lately. I've been mostly listening to audiobooks, but I got back into reading and it's been so fun. So, my sister had suggested this book. She says she really likes it, so I picked it up, and I figured we could read the first chapter together. So it is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. In the back says, "A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead." 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the Scribe Quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, dragon riders. Navarre or Navarre? You're gonna hear me mispronounce a lot of words, I'm sure. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Ryorson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly. The kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers. Everyone at Basgiath War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only two ways out. Graduate or die. So it sounds like it's gonna be an interesting book. I really like fantasy books. The last time I read a book with dragons, it was Game of Thrones. So Okay. I guess this is the world. I like it when books have pictures in them. To Aaron, my own Captain America. Through the deployment, the moves, no, through, not to, through the deployments, the moves, the sunniest highs, and the darkest lows. It's always been you and me, kiddo. Here's to the artists. You hold the power to shape the world. Fourth Wing is a non-stop thrilling adventure fantasy set in the brutal and competitive world of a military college for dragon riders, which includes elements regarding war, battle, hand-to-hand combat, perilous situations, blood, intense violence, brutal injuries, death, poisoning, graphic language, and sexual activities that are shown on the page. Readers who may be sensitive to these elements, please take note and prepare to enter Basgiath War College. I don't think I've ever seen like a warning like this when starting a book, but maybe I've just skipped over it. This is the college. Chapter 1. Conscription Day is always the deadliest. Maybe that's why the sunrise is especially beautiful this morning, because I know it might be my last. I tighten the straps of my heavy canvas rucksack and trudge up the wide staircase of the stone fortress I call home. My chest heaves with exertion, my lungs burning by the time I reach the stone corridor leading to General Sorrengail's office. This is what 6 months of intense physical training has given me. The ability to barely climb 6 flights of stairs with a 30-pound pack. I'm so effed. The thousands of 20-year-olds waiting outside the gate to enter their chosen quadrant for service are the smartest and strongest in Navarre. Hundreds of them have been preparing for the Rider's Quadrant, the chance to become one of the elite since birth. I've had exactly 6 months. The expressionless guards lining the wide hallway at the top of the landing avoid my eyes as I pass, but that's nothing new. Besides being ignored, it is the best possible scenario for me. Basgiath War College isn't known for being kind to, well, anyone, even those of us whose mothers are in command. Every Navarian officer, whether they choose to be schooled as healers, scribes, infantry, or riders, is molded with these cruel walls over 3 years, honed into weapons to secure our mountainous borders from the violent invasion attempts of the kingdom of Peromio and their griffin riders. The weak don't survive here, especially not in the Rider's Quadrant. The dragons make sure of that. You're sending her to die. A familiar voice thunders through the general's thick wooden doors, and I gasp. There's only one woman on the continent foolish enough to raise her voice to the general, but she's supposed to be on the border with the Eastern Wing, Mira. There's a muffled response from the office, and I reach for the door handle. She doesn't stand a chance, Mira shouts, as I force the heavy door open and the weight of my pack shifts forward, nearly taking me down. Shit. The general curses from behind her desk, and I grab onto the back of the crimson upholstered couch to catch my balance. Damn it, Mom, she can't even handle her rucksack, Mira snaps, rushing to my side. I'm fine. My cheeks heat with mortification, and I force myself upright. She's been back for 5 minutes and is already trying to save me. Because you need saving, you fool. I don't want this. I don't want any part of this Rider Quadrant shit. It's not like I have a death wish. I would have been better off failing the admission test at Basgiath and going straight to the army with the majority of conscripts. But I can handle my rucksack, and I will handle myself. Oh, Violet. Worried brown eyes look down at me as strong hands brace my shoulders. Hi, Mira. A smile tugs at the corners of my mouth. She might be here to say her goodbyes, but I'm just glad to see my sister for the first time in years. Her eyes soften, and her fingers flex on my shoulder like she might pull me into a hug. But she steps back and turns to stand at my side, facing her mother. You can't do this. It's already done, Mom shrugs, the lines of her fitted black uniform rising and falling with the motion. I scoff. So much for the hope of reprieve. Not that I ever should have expected or even hoped for an ounce of mercy from a woman who's been made famous for her lack of it. Then undo it, Mira seethes. She spent her whole life training to become a scribe. She wasn't raised to be a writer. Well, she certainly isn't you, is she, Lieutenant Sorengale? Mom braces her hand on the immaculate surface of her desk and leans slightly as she stands, looking us over with narrowed, appraising eyes that mirror the dragons carved into the furniture's massive legs. I don't need the prohibited power of mind reading to know exactly what she sees. At 26 years old, Mira's a younger version of her mother. She's tall, with strong, powerful muscles toned from years of sparring and hundreds of hours spent on the back of her dragon. Her skin practically glows with health, and her golden brown hair is sheared short for combat in the same style as Mom's. But more than looks, she carries the same arrogance, the unwavering conviction that she belongs in the sky. She's a rider through and through. She's everything I'm not, and the disapproving shake of Mom's head says she agrees. I'm too short, too frail. What curves I do have should be muscle, and my traitorous body makes me embarrassingly vulnerable. Mom walks towards us, her polished black boots gleaming in the mage lights that flicker from the sconces. That would be weird. Scones on the walls. She picks up the end of my long braid, scoffs at the section just above my shoulders, where the brown strands start to lose their warmth of color and slowly fade to a steely metallic silver by the ends, and then drops it. Pale skin, pale eyes, pale hair, her gaze siphons every ounce of my confidence, and down to the marrow in my bones. It's like that fever stole all your coloring along with your strength. Grief flashes through her eyes and her brow furrows. I told him not to keep you in that library. It's not the first time I heard her curse the sickness that nearly killed her while she was pregnant with me, or the library Dad made my second home when she'd been stationed here at Basgiath as an instructor and he as a scribe. I love that library, I counter. It's been more than a year since its heart finally failed, and the archives are still the only place that feels like home in this giant fortress. The only place where I still feel my father's presence. Spoken like the daughter of a scribe, Mom says quietly. And I see it. The woman she was while Dad was alive. Softer. kinder, at least for her family. I am a daughter of a scribe. My back screams at me, so I let my pack slip from my shoulders, guiding it to the floor, and take my first full breath since leaving my room. Mom blinks, and that softer woman is gone, leaving only the general. You're the daughter of a writer. You are 20 years old, and today is conscription day. I let you finish your tutoring, but like I told you last spring, I will not watch one of my children enter scribe quadrant, Violet. Because scribes are so far beneath writers, I grumble, knowing perfectly well that the writers are the top of the social and military hierarchy. It helps that their bonded dragons roast people for fun. Yes, her customary composure slips, and if you dare walk into the tunnel toward the scribe quadrant today, I will rip you out by that ridiculous braid and put you on the parapet myself. My stomach turns over. Dad wouldn't want this, Mira argues, color flushing up her neck. I loved your father, but he's dead, Mom says, as if giving the weather report. I doubt he wants much these days. I sucked in a breath, but keep my mouth shut. Arguing will get me nowhere. She's never listened to a damn thing I have had to say before, and today is no different. Sending Violet into the writer's quadrant is a tantamount to a death sentence. Guess Mira isn't done arguing. Mira's never done arguing with Mom. And the frustrating thing about it is that Mom has always respected her for it. Double standard for the win. She's not strong enough, Mom. She's already broken her arm this year, she's sprained some joint every other week, and she's not tall enough to mount any dragon big enough to keep her alive in battle. Seriously, Mira? What the heck? My fingernails bite into my palms as I curl my hands into fists. Knowing my chances of survival are minimal is one thing. Having my sister throw my inadequacies in my face is another. Are you calling me weak? No, Mira squeezes my hand. Just fragile. That's not any better. Dragons don't bond a fragile woman, they incinerate them. So she's small. Mom scans me up and down, taking in the generous fit of the green belted tunic and pants I selected this morning for my potential execution. I snort. Are we just listing my faults now? I never said it was a fault. Mom turns to my sister. Mira, Violet deals with more pain before lunch than you do in an entire week. If any of my children is capable of surviving the writer's quadrant, it's her. My eyebrows rise. That sounded an awful lot like a compliment, but with Mom, I'm never quite sure. How many writer candidates die on conscription day, Mom? 40? 50? Are you that eager to bury another child? Mira seethes. I cringe as the temperature in the room plummets, courtesy of Mom's storm-wielding signet power she channeled through her dragon. Aim, sir. My chest tightens at the memory of my brother. No one has dared to mention Brennan or his dragon in the 5 years since they died fighting the Tyrish rebellion in the south. Mom tolerates me and respects Mira, but she loved Brennan. Dad did too. His chest pains started right after Brennan's death. Mom's jaw tightens, and her eyes threaten retribution as she glares at Mira. My sister swallows but holds her own in this staring competition. Mom, I stirred out. She didn't mean, get out, Lieutenant. Mom's words are soft puffs of steam in the frigid office. Before I report you absent from your unit without leave. Mira straightens her posture, nods once, and pivots with military precision, then strides for the door without another word, grabbing a small rucksack on the way out. It's the first time Mom and I have been alone in months. Her eyes meet mine, and the temperature rises as she takes a deep breath. You scored in the top quarter for speed and agility during the entrance exam. You'll do just fine. All Sorrengails do just fine. She skims the backs of her fingers down my neck, barely grazing my skin. So much like your father, she whispers before clearing her throat and backing up a few steps. Guess there are no meritorious service awards for emotional availability. I won't be able to acknowledge you for the next 3 years, she says, sitting back on the edge of her desk. Since as commanding general of Basgiath, I'll be your far superior officer. I know. It's the least of my concerns, considering she barely acknowledges me now. You won't get any special treatment just because you're my daughter, either. If anything, they'll come after you harder to make you prove yourself. She arches an eyebrow. Well aware. Good thing I've been training with Major Gilstead for the last several months since Mom made her decree. She sighs and forces a smile. Then I guess I'll see you in the valley at Threshing Candidate? Yeah, the valley at Threshing Candidate. Though you'll be a cadet by sunset, I suppose. Or dead. Neither of us says it. Good luck, Candidate Sorengale. She moves back behind her desk, effectively dismissing me. Thank you, General. I heft my pack onto my shoulder and walk out of her office. A guard closes the door behind me. She's batshit crazy, Mira says from the center of the hallway, right between where two guards are positioned. They'll tell her you said that. Like they don't already know. She grinds out through clenched teeth. Let's go. We only have an hour before all candidates have to report, and I saw thousands waiting outside the gates when I flew over. She starts walking, leading me down the stone staircase and through the hallways to my room. Well, it was my room. In 30 minutes I've been gone. All my personal items have been packed into crates that now sit in the corner. My stomach sinks to the hardwood floor. She had my entire life boxed. She's frickin' efficient, I'll give you that, Mira mutters before turning my way, her gaze passing over me in open assessment. I was hoping to be able to talk her out of it. You were never meant for Rider's Quadrant. So you've mentioned. I lift an eyebrow at her, repeatedly. Sorry, she winces, dropping to the ground and emptying her pack. What are you doing? What Brennan did for me, she says softly, and grief lodges in my throat. Can you use a sword? I shake my head. Too heavy. I'm pretty quick with daggers, though. Really dang quick. Lightning quick. What I lack in strength, I make up for in speed. I figured. Good. Now drop your pack and take off those horrible boots. She sorts through the items she brought, handing me new boots and a black uniform. Put these on. What's wrong with my pack? I ask, but drop my rucksack anyway. She immediately opens it, ripping out everything I'd carefully packed. Mira, that took me all night. You're carrying way too much, and your boots are a death trap. You'll slip right off the parapet with those smooth soles. I had a set of rubber-bottomed rider boots made for you just in case, and this, my dear Violet, is the worst case. Books start flying, landing in the vicinity of the crate. Hey, I can only take what I can carry, and I want those. I lunge for the next book before she has a chance to toss it, barely managing to save my favorite collection of dark fables. Are you willing to die for it? She asks, her eyes turning hard. I can carry it. This is all wrong. I'm supposed to be dedicating my life to books, not throwing them in the corner to lighten my rucksack. No, you can't. You're barely thrice the weight of the pack. The parapet is roughly 18 inches wide, 200 feet above ground, and last time I looked, those were rain clouds moving in. They're not going to give you a rain delay just because the bridge might get a little slick, sis. You'll fall. You'll die. Now, are you going to listen to me, or are you going to join the other dead candidates at tomorrow morning's roll call? There's no trace of my older sister in the rider before me. This woman is shrewd, cunning, and a touch cruel. This is the woman who survived all 3 years with only one scar, the one her own dragon gave her during threshing. Because that's all you'll be, another tombstone, another name scorched in stone. Ditch the books. Dad gave me this one, I murmur, pressing the book against my chest. Maybe it's childish, just a collection of stories that warn us against the lure of magic and even demonize dragons, but it's all I have left. She sighs. Is that the old book of folklore about dark-wielding vermin and their wyvern? Haven't you read it 1,000 times already? Probably more, I admit, and they're venin, not vermin. Dad and his allegories, she says. Just don't try to channel power without being a bonded rider, and red-eyed monsters won't hide under your bed, waiting to snatch you away on their two-legged dragons to join the Dark Army. She retrieves the last book I packed from the rucksack and hands it to me. Ditch the books. Dad can't save you. He tried. I tried. Decide, Violet. Are you going to die a scribe or live as a rider? I glance down at the books in my arms and make my choice. You're a pain in the butt. I put the fables in the corner, but keep my other tome in my hands as I face my sister. A pain in the butt who's going to keep you alive. What's that one for? She challenges. Killing people. I hand it back to her. A slow smile spreads across her face. Good. You can keep that one. Now get changed while I sort the rest of this mess. The bell rings high above us. We have 45 minutes. I dress quickly, but everything feels like it belongs to someone else, though it's obviously tailored to my size. My tunic is replaced by a tight-fitting black shirt that covers my arms, and my breezy pants are exchanged for leather ones that hug every curve. Then she laces me into a vest-styled corset over the shirt. Keeps it from rubbing, she explains, like the gear riders wear into battle. Have to admit, the clothes are pretty badass, even if I feel like an imposter. God, this is really happening. Exactly, because that's what you're doing, going into battle. The combination of leather and fabric I don't recognize covers me from collarbone to just below my waist, wrapping over my breasts and crossing up and over my shoulder. I finger the hidden sheaths sewn diagonally into the ribcage. For your daggers. I only have 4. I grab them from the pile on the floor. You'll earn more. I slide my weapons into the sheath as though my ribs themselves have become weapons. The design is ingenious. Between my ribs and the sheaths at my thighs, the blades are easily accessible. I barely recognize myself in the mirror. I look like a rider. I still feel like a scribe. Minutes later, half of what I packed is piled onto the crates. She's repacked my rucksack, discarding anything deemed unnecessary, and almost everything sentimental, while word vomiting advice about how to survive in the quadrant. Then she surprises me by doing the most sentimental thing ever, telling me to sit between her knees so she can braid my hair into a crown. It's like I'm a kid again, instead of a full-grown woman, but I do it. What is this? I test the material just above my heart, scratching it with my fingernail. Something I designed, she explains, tugging my braid painfully tight against my scalp. I had it specially made for you with teen scales sewn in, so be careful with it. Dragon scales. I jerk my head back to look at her. How? Teen is huge. I happen to know a rider whose powers can make big things very small. A devious smile plays across her lips, and smaller things, much, much bigger. I roll my eyes. Mira's always been more vocal about her men than I have. About all 2 of them. I mean, how much bigger? She laughs, then tugs on my braid. Head forward. You should have cut your hair. She pulls the strands tight against my head and resumes weaving. It's a liability in sparring and in battle, not to mention being a giant target. No one else has hair that fades out to silver like this, and they'll already be aiming for you. You know very well the natural pigment seems to gradually abandon it no matter the length. My eyes are just as indecisive. a light hazel of varying blues and ambers that never seem to favor either actual color. Besides, other than everyone else's concern for the shade of my hair, is the only thing that Besides, other than everyone else's concern for the shade, my hair is the only thing about me that's perfectly healthy. Cutting it would feel like I'm punishing my body for finally doing something well, and it's not like I feel the need to hide who I am. You're not. Mira yanks on my braid, pulling my head back, and her eyes lock. You're the smartest woman I know. Don't forget that. Your brain is your best weapon. Outsmart them, Violet. Do you hear me? I nod and she loosens her grip, then finishes the braid and pulls me to my feet as she continues to summarize years of knowledge into 15 harried minutes, barely pausing to breathe. Be observant. Quiet is fine, but make sure you notice everything and everyone around you to your advantage. You've read the Codex? A few times. The rulebook for Rider's Quadrant is a fraction of the length of the other divisions. Probably because riders have trouble obeying rules. Good. Then you know that the other riders can kill you at any time, and the cutthroat cadets will try. Fewer cadets means better odds at threshing. There are never enough dragons willing to bond, and anyone reckless enough to get themselves killed isn't worthy of a dragon anyway. Except when sleeping. And it's an executable offense to attack any cadet while sleeping. Article 3, yes, but that doesn't mean you're safe at night. Sleep in this if you can. She taps the stomach of my corset. Rider Black is supposed to be earned. You sure I shouldn't wear my tunic today? I skim my hands over the leather. The wind up on the parapet will catch any spare cloth like a sail. She hands me my now much lighter pack. The tighter your clothes, the better off you are up there. In the ring, once you start sparring, wear the armor at all times. Keep your daggers on you at all times. She pointed to the sheaths down her thighs. Someone's going to say I didn't earn them. You're a Soren Gale, she responds as if that answer's enough. Screw what they say. And you don't think the dragon scales are cheating? There's no such thing as cheating once you climb the turret. There's only survival and death. The bell chimes, only 30 minutes left. She swallows. It's almost time. Ready? No. Neither was I. A wry smile lifts a corner of her mouth, and I'd spent my life training for it. I'm not going to die today. I sling my pack over my shoulder and breathe a little easier than this morning. It's infinitely more manageable. The halls of the central administrative part of the fortress are eerily quiet as we wind our way down through the various staircases, but the noise from outside grows louder, and the lower we descend. Through the windows, I see thousands of candidates hugging their loved ones and saying their goodbyes on the grassy fields just beneath the main gate. From what I witnessed every year, most families hold on to their candidates right up to the very last bell. The 4 roads leading to the fortress are clogged with horses and wagons, especially where they converge in front of the college. But it's the empty ones at the edge of the fields that make me nauseous. They're for the bodies. Right before we round the last corner that will lead to the courtyard, Mira stops. What is... Ugh. She yanks me against her chest, hugging me tight in the relative privacy of the corridor. I love you, Violet. Remember everything I've told you. Don't become another name on the death roll. Her voice shakes, and I wrap my arms around her, squeezing tight. I'll be all right, I promise. She nods, her chin pumping against the top of my head. I know. Let's go. That's all she says before pulling away and walking into the crowded courtyard just inside the main gate to the fortress. Instructors, commanders, and even our mother are gathered informally, waiting for the madness outside the walls to become the order within. Out of all the doors in the War College, the main gate is the only one no cadet will enter today, since each quadrant has its own entrance and facilities. Hell, the riders have their own citadel. pretentious, egotistical jerks. I follow Mira, catching her with a few quick strides. Find Dane Ados, Mira tells me as we cross through the courtyard heading for the open gate. Dane. I can't help but smile at the thought of seeing Dane again, and my heart rate jumps. It's been a year, and I miss his soft brown eyes and the way he laughs, the way every part of his body joins in. I've missed our friendship, and the moments I thought it might turn into more under the right circumstances. I've missed the way he looked at me, and like I'm someone worth noticing. I've just missed him. I've only been out of the quadrant for 3 years, but from what I hear, he's doing well, and he'll keep you safe. Don't smile like that, Mira chides. He'll be a second year. She shakes a finger at me. Don't mess around with second years. If you want to get laid, and you should, she lifts her brows. Often, considering you never know what the day brings, then screw around in your own year. Nothing is worse than cadets gossiping that you've slept your way to safety. So I'm free to take any of the first years I want to bed, I say with a little grin, just not the second or third years. Exactly, she winks. We cross through the gates, leaving the fortress, and join the organized chaos beyond. Each of Navarre's 6 provinces has sent this year's share of candidates for military service. Some volunteer, some are sentenced as punishment, most are conscripted. The only thing we have in common here at Basgiath is that we passed the entrance exam. Both written and an agility test I still cannot believe I passed. Which means at least we won't end up as fodder for the infantry on the front line. The atmosphere is tense with anticipation as Mira leads me along in the worn cobblestone path toward the southern turret. The main college is built into the side of Basgiath Mountain, as if it was cleaved from a ridgeline of the peak itself. The sprawling, formidable structure towers over the crowd of anxious, waiting candidates and their tearful families, with its story-tall stone battlements, built to protect the high-rise of the keep within, and defensive turrets at each of its corners, one of which houses the bells. This chapter is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, guys. Like, my goodness. That's so many more pages. I think I will just finish this page. And then we'll stop there, because the video is getting quite long. The majority of the crowd moves to line up at the base of the northern turret, the entrance to the infantry quadrant. Some of the mass heads toward the gate behind us, the healer quadrant that consumes the southern end of the college. Envy clenches my chest when I spot a few taking the central tunnel into the archives below the fortress to join the scribe quadrant. The entrance to the riders quadrant is nothing more than a fortified door at the base of the tower, just like the infantry entrance to the north. But while the infantry candidates can walk straight into their ground level quadrant, we rider candidates will climb. Mira and I join the riders line, waiting to sign in, and I make the mistake of glancing up. High above us, crossing the river bottom valley that divides the main college from the even higher looming citadel of the riders quadrant on the southern ridgeline, is the parapet. The stone bridge that's about to separate rider candidates from the cadets over the next few hours. I can't believe I'm about to cross that thing. And to think I've been preparing for the scribe's written exam all these years. My voice drips with sarcasm. I should have been playing on a balance beam. Mira ignores me as the line moves forward and candidates disappear through the door. Don't let the wind sway your steps. 2 candidates ahead of us, a woman, sobs as her partner rips her away from a young man. The couple breaking from the line, retreating in tears down the hillside toward the crowd of loved ones lining the roads. There are no other parents ahead of us, only a few dozen candidates moving toward the roll keepers. Keep your eyes on the stones ahead of you and don't look down, Mira says, the lines of her face like tightening. Arms out for balance. If the pack slips, drop it. Better it falls than you. I look behind us, where it seems hundreds have filled in with the span of minutes. Maybe I should let them go first. I whisper as panic fists my heart. What the heck am I doing? No, Mira answers. The longer you wait on those steps, she motions toward the tower, the greater your fear has a chance to grow. Cross the parapet before the terror owns you. And that is where we're going to stop. Well, I hope you enjoyed me reading a bit of the book. I would have finished, but my throat is sore and the video is getting very long. But let me know if you enjoyed this, and maybe I can do another one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you happen to still be awake and would like to subscribe, that would be really appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.